Welcome, readers. Today on Book Chat, we are diving into this month's buddy read, All Her Little Secrets, written by Wanda M. Morris. Stay tuned. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Amazon Music. Check it out. It has 70 million songs, thousands of playlists. You can listen without commercials. Sign up today and get your first month for free using the Shelf Addiction link. Go to getamazonmusic.com/shelf addiction and sign up today. Again, the code is Shelf Addiction. The link is also in the show notes. Hey everyone, I am your host, Tamara Ford, and thank you for downloading this month's Buddy Read discussion featured here on the Shelf Addiction podcast. If you're new here, every week we get bookish with book discussions, book reviews, shelf bites, and more. If you're wondering what is a buddy read, this is a feature where Classy and I select a thriller or mystery title that we both are interested in. Then we have a candid conversation about that book or audiobook. We even discuss it in our Facebook group, Shelf Addiction Official, during a live chat. So grab a glass of wine, a cocktail, a cup of tea or coffee, whatever your drink of choice is, and settle in for this fun discussion. As always with book chats, there is a spoiler alert in effect, so you've been warned. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support this podcast by sharing it with your book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. That will really help me out, and I appreciate you for doing it. The uncut video version of this podcast is available now on Patreon. Join us there for exclusive videos, including this podcast after show. If you'd like to support the show in other ways, please consider doing that by supporting our sponsors. By supporting them, you are supporting us. Check out all of the sponsors at shelfaddiction.com/sponsors. If you've read the book or listened to the audiobook and would like to weigh in on this conversation, be sure to join the Facebook group Shelf Addiction Official. I hope to hear your thoughts on this discussion. Links for everything I've mentioned are in the show notes, so let's get going. We've got a lot to cover today, so we are going to jump right on in. Joining me is the Buddy Read feature co-host, Classy Green from the Bookish Virtual Assistant. Welcome back, Classy.
Hey, y'all. Hey. How you doing, Tamara?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good this evening.
Yes, that's good. So before we start the discussion, if you're interested in today's after show, head on over to Patreon to check it out. We are talking about the latest book nerd news and more, so definitely you don't want to miss out on that. Today, we are discussing the book, All Her Little Secrets, written by Wanda M. Morris, narrated by Susan Dillian, first published November 2nd, 2021 by William Morrow. And, I should look and see where the audiobook was published. Harper Audio. The hardcover comes in at 384 pages, and the unabridged audio comes in at 11 hours and 40 minutes. Classy, would you kindly share the synopsis?
Absolutely. Everyone has something to hide. Elise Littlejohn seemingly has it all. An Ivy League law degree, a well-paying job as a corporate attorney in Midtown Atlanta, great friends, and a for-fun relationship with a rich, charming executive, her white boss, Michael. But everything changes one cold January morning when Elise goes to meet Michael and finds him dead with a gunshot to his head. And then she walks away like nothing has happened. But why? Elise has been keeping a cache of dark secrets, including a small town past and a kid brother who spent time on the other side of the law. She can't be thrust into the spotlight again. But instead of grieving this tragedy, people are gossiping. The police are getting suspicious, and Elise, the company's lone Black attorney, is promoted to replace Michael. While the opportunity is a dream come true, Elise just can't shake the feeling that something is off. Dun, dun, dun.
That synopsis tells a lot.
I agree. We've read some synopsises that were just like that. That's not what we just read.
Yeah.
This is a great synopsis.
Yes.
And I shortened it. The last paragraph is even great too, but yeah, it's a great synopsis.
Yeah. So, all right, y'all. Where shall we start? All her little secrets. I listened on audio this time as well. We always do. Did you listen on audio too?
I did.
Okay. 11 hours and 40 minutes was a little long, but I listened on 1.8. And then in the last 3 hours, I listened on 2.0.
Ooh, look at you. I did 1.8, and then it got to one part where I think I was like really trying to pay attention, and I dropped it to 1.5, and then I went back up to 1.8.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like you said, after a while you get really comfortable with it and it sounds normal. And I probably I could have bumped it up to 2.0, but I was at 1.8, and Susan sounded lovely.
She did. Mm-hmm. And I definitely could tell some of the parts were really getting intricate, because I think I text you. I'm like, I was trying to multitask at this particular time when I think like the whole why of it was coming out. I'm like, oh wait, I think I missed something. I gotta rewind it, because I was like paying attention, but splitting my attention at that point. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go back.
And that's why I had to bump it to 1.5, because Wanda is so intricate with her storytelling that, like you said, it's just one little part you could miss. It could be key. Or, sometimes you could just listen. You're like, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's important. No, her stories, this story, she had so many little moving pieces and plots and subplots that there were times where you really needed to pay attention.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think if I wanted to start with the beginning, I did find the beginning catching, who literally finds a dead body and sneaks out. I'm not sure I could do that. If I walked in and saw a dead body in my boss's office, boss/boyfriend's office, I don't think I could just leave him there and walk out like I was never there.
Yeah. Yeah, that beginning, I was like, okay, all right, Wanda, you got to start a book. Those type of books, I'm just like, okay, what's going to happen next? And like you said, why would you walk out? I'm not sure if I would either, but then you would think, with you being the lover or the mistress, somebody might think you killed him. So it's like,
yeah, so, I don't know, but it's almost like I don't think I don't know. These police, you never can tell, but like, I'm not hiding in plain sight. If I killed him, I would run. I wouldn't sit here and say I found the body. Yeah. But I know she was more concerned with people talking about her.
And she had secrets.
Yeah, she did. But I think some of that, her decision making, I had a problem with. Like, for example, when Elise figures out that her brother had been there the morning he was killed, or the night before he was killed, on the security tape. She lies to the police repeatedly. And then on top of it, now don't forget, y'all, Elise is an attorney. Attorneys should know better. After she leaves him voicemails, I'm like, why are you leaving him voicemails?
Now that I struggled with. I got the lie stuff because of her past and her past secrets and her trust of the police. But I was just like, why are you're leaving evidence all over the place? Call me. What's going on? I'm like, oh.
Yes. And some of her messages were pretty detailed. The lawyer died.
Damning.
Right. Yeah. They're very damning. And it's like, why are you doing that? The most you should be saying, I need to talk to you. It's an emergency. Call me. Hang up.
Yep. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I'm like, did all her training just like fly out the window? And then I thought about it, and I'm like, in those kind of situations, possibly, you kind of lose your cool. It was her brother. She's trying to protect him, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, I'm not sure.
Look, between text messages and voicemails getting people caught, I'm pretty confident in 2021 you would not catch me leaving a damning voicemail.
No, especially after she knew, right. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, I would not be doing that. Just call me. Call me.
Call me. Bye.
Yes. Bye. Important. Hey, bro.
Right.
I mean, she was just like the lawyer, not just the lawyer, Gallagher.
Yeah. And another message.
Another,
what was one of it? What were you doing here? Da, 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 da. I'm like, what? And you just lied to the police? Of course they're going to hear that message.
Yeah. I was just like, that was not smart, Elise. But I guess that goes to show you can be smart and make poor decisions. Well, you actually can. I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
What Elise is doing is not unusual. We think it is, but it happens all the time. Some of the smartest people make some of the poorest choices.
Yes.
And she certainly did here. But yeah, I really did enjoy the beginning. The pacing was a slow burn. And you know how I am with slow burns, right? I'm just like, let's just get to the damn good part. But this slow burn was different for me.
Okay.
And it was probably because even though it was slow, she still kept me interested. The way her storytelling, it almost I felt like I was watching a television show. I actually felt like I was watching, a movie or a series or, and because I was just like really paying attention. And interested. It wasn't like I was just like, oh, here we go again. Right. I was enthralled, but it was slow. And I'm not a slow burn type of reader. And I've read reviews where people were like, oh, it was fast paced. It was this. And I was like,
it's not.
They thought this was fast paced.
It's not fast paced. And that almost was a problem for me. While you stayed all in, I was kind of fading here and there. I'm like, come on, let's push the plot a little bit faster. But what did keep me hooked in there was like the things that are relevant to today that were going on in her office setting. I was almost more interested in that than the murder. I'm like, the fiasco of how she's being treated in that office. Clearly, you the scapegoat, girl.
Yeah. Now, can I go and piggyback on what you were saying or ask a question with, the pushing the plot forward? Now, do you feel like she didn't push it as fast because she had several subplots, within the story? And then she did the back, the past and the present. She did it a few times. She didn't do it constantly. So that's, do you think that may have been why it was not pushed as fast? Because she had to give us some background and she had to, I guess we could say world build and the development of certain characters and things like that.
Yeah, I think maybe it could have been the flashbacks that slowed it a little bit. Especially when, some of it I really didn't enjoy reading at all. So I don't know. I guess the author was trying to make us really understand how she got to the point where she wanted to hide everything about her life. She thought it was so awful. But at that same time, I don't know if we needed as much of it to make the same point. I'm not sure.
Something could have been left out, you felt like.
I did. I don't know. I just felt like her secrets she thought were so life-changing, so world-moving. And in the end, the police detective's like, yeah, so I read it. I didn't see anything of interest to me. Something that was not clear and somebody who I don't give a care about. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, a man was murdered.
Yes.
that was a grave secret. I don't think the police knew, but someone was missing. But yeah, but yeah, I think that may have been why, the reason why it didn't move so fast, because she was like, before I go, I gotta tell you my little secrets. I got all these secrets here.
And we had to learn about her brother. Did we though? We had to learn something bad happened to him when he was young as well.
Mm-hmm. But that led up to the reason why. Are we talking about him being in the shed, locked in the shed? And that kind of led up to the reason why Willie, or whatever the boy, the stepdad's name was murdered. Between that and her situation.
I think he was. Yeah, I guess it was like all those things rolled together. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised that Vera, was that her name? Vera did not like help her with that situation a little quicker.
Immediately. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Like, okay, you helped her. Now it's time to get rid of him.
We'll just talk about that situation now. So the situation we're talking about is, when
trigger warning.
She was younger. Yes, trigger warning. She was molested and raped when she was a teenager, and she became pregnant by the mothers. Well, they never clarified if they actually got married or not.
Right.
So her mother's live-in, partner, I guess.
Yeah. Right.
He was attacking her almost daily, it seemed like.
Yeah.
The mother was a drunk to the point where she would pass out.
Yeah.
And this dude would just get out of bed, come and say, hey, let's go into the shed, like a douchebag. Like, ugh.
Like, wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was a police officer.
Mm-hmm. I cannot believe Vera let that, like, after she found out the girl got pregnant, it would have been a wrap for him. She would have been making that dinner 2 nights from that. Exactly. As soon as you're able to be up and around, you're making this dinner.
Yeah. Yep.
Which killed him, basically.
Yeah. So lace the chicken and dumplings.
Yes. I don't know. So yes, she did kill someone in her past, but she was a minor, and it was the 70s, right? 78. So I think she was like 14 or something in 1978.
Right. She was 14.
Yeah. So now she's a full ass adult, like 50, pushing 50 if she wasn't already 50.
Yeah, we were straddling the age, because she kept saying, yeah, well, you're in your 40s. That little slim body, you get a little soft around the middle. So we were not like quite sure how old she was, because I don't even think they gave us a year of when this story actually took place. I think we only basically knew 79 was the year of, her life.
The flashbacks,
yeah. So,
I wish we knew what year it was, because I'm like, if you do the math, if you were 14 and 78, if we're talking about present year, you're over 50.
Yeah. And the thing was, even with the storyline, she didn't make it seem like it was 2021. There was no George Floyd or civil unrest or no pandemic. So it was probably in the year 20 something.
And I will agree with you, because I did watch a snippet of an interview with the author, and she was saying like this was something that was kind of like sitting around that she hadn't touched for a long time. So it sounds like she hadn't touched this book in about 8 years.
Okay.
So gotcha. That would make sense. So if we go back
2013. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So and I can believe, believe that time frame. But yeah, that I do see what you were saying with, because she could have pushed it a little faster with the pacing, eliminated maybe some of the backstory, like the schooling and the, I think I'm not sure of the relevance of the schooling, except for she was an attorney and she was bright. But that wasn't like a big secret.
Right.
The secret of her being, molested and being pregnant and killing of the live-in boyfriend, those were all key. But she had a lot going on in the story. There were a lot of plots and subplots. So we had Vera, the brother, her past. So it was a lot. It was a lot going on. But I did like the way she weaved it. It did take some time, but I did like the way she did wind up weaving the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of that, I did appreciate, Elise trying to protect her brother even after, spoiler alert, you guys know, spoiler alert all through this, even after he was killed, she was, relentless and proving that, he didn't kill anyone, Yeah.
She was trying to clear his name. She kept telling the officer, he may be a 2-bit hustler,
right?
Or done some time, but killer, a murderer, he's not.
No.
But yeah, and the officers were just like, how can you guys, this place, this company, this transport company, Kugler, whatever the heck the name was, somebody can die and nobody wants to help us figure out how one of their top employees, because Michael was the general counsel.
Yeah.
And once he died, once he died, they promoted Elise to his position.
Like the next day.
Yeah, the next day. It was, no turnaround. At the funeral, no one from the company was there because a big company party was planned. So they couldn't cancel that party to go to a funeral. So, they were really, at least immediately knew something is weird here. You have your general counsel dies and all you guys can think about is, well, we have a board of trustees meeting and we need you to show up. She was basically the token Black woman. Oh, yeah. Michael's gone. Now we have a double minority that we can put in here and check off boxes. Perfect.
And okay, so also going on at the same time, there are protesters out front of this company because they refuse to hire minorities. So they're like, hey, let's get the token Black girl in here. Hey,
we got one.
Yeah, we got one. See?
And she's in the top position. She's in a high position. She's on 20th floor. And the 20th floor, people, is the executive floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where the big wigs are.
No cameras. We should also note for future.
Yes. Right. No cameras are up there because, we trust everybody up here. We don't need cameras. We need no stinking cameras up here because we're family.
Sure, we're family.
That's what Nate, who is the CEO, kept saying. We're family. We treat each other like family here.
Yes. And you know why I created this company? Oh, repeat. Okay. So Nate, the owner, the CEO, the head of the thing, he keeps having this spiel that he regurgitates like ad nauseum. Why I started this company? Well, how this company started, blah, 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 blah. And then we find out, right. We find out later he's doing that because his ass has dementia. And he's like, people go back to the same stories, the same things over and over again when you have dementia.
He would have those big pregnant pauses and looking out the window. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Something's not right. And little Willow, the HR lady, just showed up every time wherever he was, she was there.
She was on him like white on rice. She's like, where's
wet nurse? That's they call back a wet nurse.
Like Elise hunts down Nate and she's like, let's have lunch. She goes to have lunch and here comes Willow. Oh, I heard y'all was having lunch. I'll join you. And she like, oh my goodness.
Making sure he does not say anything wrong.
Yes.
They were
What a
trying to protect
fiasco.
that. Yeah. Protect that, the legacy basically, because he
Yeah.
did not have any living children. And they wanted to make sure they probably tried to make sure he wasn't giving her anything. He didn't gave the
Yes.
company over to Elise. That's probably, or telling some kind of secret.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
But yeah, I did like
keep him
that.
in check.
Exactly. Remind him, let's wheel him back in, because she know he can repeat himself, and yeah, so she had to wheel him back in. So as far as the characters, like, did you find any of the characters relatable? Did you like them? Did you not like them?
I didn't like anybody except, I guess I kind of got a vibe from Juice. I feel like Elise is going to give him a chance after it's all said and done. I'm like, he a little rough around the edges, but she like it. The butterfly she kept talking about. I'm like, she down. But no, everyone else I kind of didn't feel hot or cold about.
Okay.
I liked Elise in general, outside of her acting stupid, even though she's very smart. In general, I didn't have any problem with her. I could relate to her in a sense, not because I'm a CEO or top of whatever, because I'm not, but working in an environment where you're the only Black face, I definitely experienced that for many years when I was at one company.
Yeah.
I'll be in a conference room and I'm the only Black, and there may be 2 or 3 women and the rest are men.
Yep. And you're just waiting for that one little comment to drop.
Yeah.
For everybody laughs, and you're looking at them like, that's not even funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely can relate to that. I definitely can relate to like an odd tone that you can't quite put your finger on, but it's like Get Out, but not.
You just like, ooh, right. It's that one job where you're just like, oh, I'm so excited. Yeah. I got this job. It's great. Oh my God, they're paying, blah, blah, blah. And then you get in there and you're just like, oh,
yeah.
I don't know how long I'm going to be with this company.
Yeah.
Now I see why. So many people, like their turnover rate is high, or why it's only so many of us of color in this place, or, yeah. I've felt that too. Like, guess I'll be looking further.
Yeah. I even thought it was kind of slightly annoying how the one coworker that's Jewish kept trying to say him and her were the same. Like, I'm like, no, not really.
Yep. Exactly.
Like, yes, these people are racist and they don't like Jews either. They don't, but not to the level that they freaking hate Blacks. Like, even at the end of this book, the one guy, what was his name?
Rudy, or
Harper.
The guy that was her.
Harper was like, wasn't that his name? At the end, who was like in the office with her. He
Rudy.
Was like, what is it?
I think it's Rudy, the guy with the dreads, who was her direct report.
No, I'm talking about him. When she, in the office at night when she was like trying to run from him.
Hardy.
Okay, I'm like Harper. No, it's Hardy.
Guy. Yes, Hardy.
Even he was in this little group. Yeah, he's a killer. And it all made sense why he was, but he was like, we thought you were different. You were an exception. Like, basically, you're an N-word, but we'll take you because you're not that bad.
Right. Lawyer lady.
Lawyer lady.
I was like, oh
yeah.
God.
It's like, what? And then he's like, well, sorry, we got to kill you now. So, like, dang.
Yeah, they did try to make it seem like the Jews and the Black people are the same, and no,
yeah,
because I mean sometimes no,
it's just not on the same. It's just not, and I guess that's a debate for another day. But in my opinion, is my opinion
exactly, because I was gonna go there and I'm like, oh, that's touchy.
Yeah.
That's a little touchy.
Yes.
All I can think of is that when you look at both of us, if you put me next to a Jewish woman, she's going to
or man
see her as or man. They're going to be viewed as a white male or female.
Right.
I'm immediately, no doubt, regardless of my last name or my culture or whatever, you immediately recognize that I am a Black woman.
Yes.
Where my counterparts,
you cannot
it may
tell.
take some time.
Yeah. Not unless they're wearing, unless they are,
or their last is obviously
Orthodox.
Jewish.
If they're Orthodox, then maybe you could tell right away. Right. Or if they're wearing the, headpiece, the men wear the headpiece, then maybe you could tell right away. But if they're just dressed regularly.
Yep. They are a Caucasian person.
Yes. Right.
Yep. But yeah, I noticed that too. So yeah, some of the things that she touched on was racism, sexism, ageism, classism. She did a lot with this. This is her debut novel. Debut novel, which I think I want to credit her for that, because even though, the little nuances that we are talking about that we didn't like for a debut novel, I felt like she did a great job telling this story. And I read some reviews where people were trying to, because they always, when it's a debut novel, and even when it's not a debut novel, try to compare it to other books. And the big books that, the two that they mentioned that I saw was The Whisper Network and When No One Is Watching. I did not read The Whisper Network. Did you?
I did not.
Yeah, but I did read When No One Is Watching. Comparison. I think she did a way better job than Alyssa Cole.
I would agree.
Yeah. I
would agree
better
with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better.
So I was just like,
because at least this had a real, in my opinion, a real true mystery element.
Thank you. And thriller element. Yeah.
Right.
It was. It definitely was. Because even though like the thriller, the mystery part, and then once we figured it, it just kept getting, okay, so we figured out, well, yeah, it did have a real mystery element. Because at one point I was like, okay, now the mystery's over because we know Jonathan killed him. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. But yeah, because in the story, it was, how would I say, it was kind of mentioned, or they were trying to have us believe that Jonathan, who was a part of, what was the name of this company? Callahan or something like that.
Something like that. It was. They said it a bunch company. Too.
Yeah, and Jonathan. It was made to believe that Jonathan had hired Sam, Elise's brother, to trail
that other attorney.
Yeah, another attorney, Gallagher, from another company, and it was believed that Jonathan was basically setting up Sam to take the fall for the murder of Michael and for the murder of this attorney, Gallagher. And when the final piece of the moving piece with him transporting, he basically was supposed to drop off a car in a wooded area and leave it there, and someone was going to pick him up. But lo and behold, he had a niggling feeling, which I hate that damn word, and she used it often. That was one of the things I did not like. I hate niggling because it's so close to the other word.
Yes.
And Sam actually looked in the trunk and found a dead body. And when Jonathan came to pick him up, he figured out that, hey, he knows too much. And Elise's brother was killed.
Yeah.
So we assumed, because he was, we assumed that it was Jonathan who killed him, because Hardy had hired Sam using the name Jonathan.
Yes.
That was, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So all this time, we were thinking, I was thinking at least
Mm-hmm.
And I would believe most readers would believe because, he was like, hey, yeah, Jonathan hired me.
Yeah.
Who would know the difference? Because he didn't know what Jonathan looked like. The man said, my name is Jonathan, blah, blah, blah. I work at Callahan Transport.
Yes.
And come to find out that Jonathan was actually Hardy, the head of security of the firm, of the company, not the firm. So yeah, that was a great mystery and a plot twist at the end. So,
which is crazy because I wonder if that even would have worked at all if Elise had never lost her pass key. Like, let's say she held on to that thing for dear life and it was never out of her sight. Because, Hardy took that pass key and gave it to her brother, and he only knew it had his last name on it. He didn't know it was not for him.
Right. He just he thought, hey, I got my own pass key. He made me a key. He made a pass key just for me. So he thought he was on the come up.
Yeah.
Because Sam, Elise's brother, had been in and out of jail. Elise had been supporting him for years. And all of a sudden he gets this great job, guys. Making more money than he's ever seen in his life. And all he had to do was, trail a lawyer and then go drop a car off at a different spot. But yeah, so yeah. So yeah, that was a good twist. I forgot about that little twist there. So I'll give her
that was a good frame
more
job.
credit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from like outside looking in, that was a complex framing situation. Like there were a lot of moving parts to that.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
I kind of sat down once when it got to that part, I was like, wow. Because I do remember them saying, Little John, that's not a common name. And, and this guy even went to the point of leaving her a note in her car. So she's like, how did you get in my car? Left a note, left her Aunt Vera flowers at the nursing home.
She freaked out. She was like, who's here? Ah! They're like, nobody was here.
She's like, oh no, somebody was here. My auntie has flowers.
Yeah.
And nobody's at that front desk. But yeah, she did. She weaved in that story very well with, because I was trying to figure out too, who would care that much about her past to haunt her like that? Because I was like, is this one of Willie's children that we don't know about?
Yeah.
I was really trying to figure out who the heck is this person that's killing and threatening, her family. Because, because Jonathan was like, I didn't do it. I'm like, sure you didn't do it? Because the brother said, you're the one who hired him. So yeah, I did enjoy it. That was, one of the things that I did enjoy about the story.
Yeah, there were a lot of things to like or appreciate about it, but even though I feel like that, there's still something that's not allowing me to say, wow, that was a great book. There's something that's keeping me back from that.
Yeah, there wasn't, why? Because even I felt that way, that there wasn't a lot of wow moments. There wasn't. I think I may have had one wow moment, and I should have wrote it down, but I didn't. But there was nothing I was like, oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
No, there was nothing like, but I was like, but she could tell a wonderful story. But yeah, but there was no like.
She needs a little bit of firecrackers, like something, a couple of scenes to just make it seem like.
She needed more scenes like that opening scene.
Yeah.
She needed a few more of those and weaved within the story.
Yeah, or close calls where maybe someone was following her or attacking her, like that one scene where she got kind of knocked over the head. That was interesting. And the most interesting scene after that, or in addition to that, was, when Hardy was chasing her ass around the office. She's trying to get him out of breath. I'm like, oh my God.
I love. Like she found an empty cubicle and hid under there. And then the way she set it up for him to die was...
She laid a trap.
Yeah. See, we needed more of those.
More of that.
That's those moments where you're like on edge and you're just like, come on now, what's going to happen next? Because you could actually feel her like, luring him. Yeah. Luring him like, come on, hey, I'm over here. I'm over here. Yeah. Yeah. We did need more of those. And I'm hoping that her next book, that she will, add some more pop, some more excitement in the story. So,
I don't know. I always get kind of nervous when I hear people say, oh, I started this book a zillion years ago and then recently finished or came back to it after.
Yeah.
I'm like, because, you hear everyone has one good story, right? Everyone has one. But can you do it again? And can you do it better?
Yeah.
That's the thing, because we've heard of the sophomore slump as well. So 1, can you do it again? And 2, can you be better?
Yep. Can you improve upon what you just did? And I don't know, you hope and you pray. But like you're saying, this is good. It's not like stellar. And I'm like teetering because it's just so many things that I do like, but it wasn't totally exciting, but it was interesting and it kept me interested. So it's like, okay, do I knock her, my rating because of those kind of feelings? But I do think it is a story that should be told and should be read, especially all the things that she kind of talked about, like you said, they were relatable to us, of being in that field, or just, I don't want to say in the field of being an attorney, but being the only
in corporate America. Yeah. Corporate America.
Yeah. And constantly having to prove yourself when you shouldn't, where everything is laid out for you. You see my credentials, who I am. But I'm still treated less than. So, but yeah, those are some of the things that I thought about, for my rating, and I'm like, but I think I still am going to keep it where I'm at.
Yeah. Another thing I felt that I wasn't sure I liked was like the race stuff, like the the very conservative, like, white people that hate everyone. In this type of story, I honestly feel like the corruption could have carried it. It didn't have to be that. I mean, it added another layer, but
or
not
saying with the brethren or the political.
Yes, with the brethren and all of that. Like, it didn't. You can have racist white people in any job without it having to be elevated to like that level. But I don't know. I guess it was a quick, easy way to make them villains even more villainous. Right. But corporate corruption in general, people are killing people and doing crazy stuff and covering it.
Yeah, without having a underground racist political or radical group. Yeah, because they were radical. They were smuggling guns and planning to kill people or destroy or whatever, cause some kind of chaos at Martin Luther King parades and things like that. So
I don't know. I just kind of felt like that additional layer, it was there and it was fine, but I don't think it added more to what was going on, because those same people could be doing the same actions and not have been in that group
without that secret society, because they do exist. We know.
Yeah.
But maybe she was just trying to uncover, maybe she knows something about some of these secret societies that we don't know about and was decided, this is my opportunity to show, the good old boys club. This is one of them that exists. But yeah. I do get that. I understand exactly where you're coming from with that, where it may have been a point that didn't need to be a deep dive into. Could have just left it at corporate corruption.
Yeah.
With racism. So
yes, which is every day. But I'm sure everyday life, I'm sure there are people scattered that are a part of some kind of crazy organization. But Lord, the whole executive floor, basically.
Yeah. But they got a smile in our faces because it's like, but because they know, hey, we got the crazies outside protesting. So how can we figure this out? Yeah. We got a little black girl on the 19th floor. Let's invite her up.
When I think about the escape room, all of them were corrupt, right? But they weren't, ultra racist in a secret society. No. I mean, no, but they were ultra corrupt. They caught someone, embezzling, and that someone died. And, I don't know. There's just a way to do
same elements, but without that added layer of organized racist group.
I feel like it's the KKK. She just named it something else.
Yep. All I could think of was insurrection.
Yes.
That's all I thought of. And that was the only thing like we could say, oh, sorry. And she didn't say that, to make it more current, like 2021. But I mean, those things exist. But yeah, I do get that part where you were saying we could have did without it, but I get
it is what it is.
Yeah, right. Because I mean, that all ties back to why Michael was killed, because he wasn't agreeing with their views and their decision with the guns and all that. So
I mean, of course, and he wasn't racist. I mean, he's been in a long-term relationship with a black woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Many years they've been doing this.
Yeah, they left their former job because of their relationship. So Yep. So what did you think about the cover art?
Okay. Well, before we jump into that, let's take a quick break. We are well over our break time, so we need a quick break. You guys check out the commercials, and it's my fault I didn't set the timer. Sorry, y'all. So y'all got a late break. We're gonna check out the commercials, check out the links in the show notes, check out the merch store, all that good stuff. Check out the reading challenge tracker that I have available on Amazon, and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. Welcome back, guys. We're back, and we are going to continue where we left off. Classy, weren't you asking me about the cover art?
I did. The cover art, book title. Do you think it tied in well? Did you hate it? Did you like it?
Well, I thought if you're on Patreon, you can see the cover while we're looking at it. I thought the cover was striking, right? When we first picked this, the cover caught my attention. I wanted to think, oh, what is this? And I didn't even notice at first that there's a little girl in her sunglasses, but that makes sense. In the dress, yeah, because we get to go back to her youth, and we see her as a young preteen or teen.
Yeah. And
so looking at it
closely, that dress is mentioned in the book.
It is mentioned in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So after reading it, It makes complete sense. It jives, So I like when it touches base. Sometimes we see covers and we're like, what does that have to do with anything inside the book?
Wait, sometimes we've seen the cover, and then after we read the book, we're like, see, we should have looked at the cover more thoroughly. If we'd have looked at the cover, we would have kind of had an idea that, you know what, this is no. Because we've had some false impressions with covers, so we're trying to pay more attention. And this one fit the bill. This one did a great job, I think, with the cover.
Yeah, it has it's impactful. It has elements of the story on the cover. Mm-hmm. I liked it. I like it.
Yeah, because she was a designer snob. I believe those glasses, I mean, I don't know what kind of glasses, but they have kind of like a designer, they're different kind of feel to it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I did too. The little girl in the past, because it's black and white.
Yeah.
So yeah, the cover is striking.
It is.
Yeah.
Good job on the cover art, whoever did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't get to say that too often nowadays. But absolutely.
No.
Yeah. And I like the title because I guess she did have a lot of secrets. I guess maybe they're little secrets because she was younger where the secrets reside.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they came back to haunt her. Yeah, because they're right. They were just little bitty, her employer or her coworkers didn't even know she had a brother. Mm-hmm. They thought she was an only child. And all those little things they did just came back to haunt her, as she was trying to solve the mystery of her boss lover's murder. Her secrets were being revealed. It could possibly, her secrets in her lies could have possibly landed her butt in jail.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
One thing I didn't quite that didn't quite resonate with me is like, I understand wanting to leave your past behind, but why lie about everything in your life? Why hide a sibling? Like, honestly, she's lucky her friend is even still talking to her. Like, that's a good friend. And she had no idea you had a brother at all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't quite grasp. Everyone has parts of their past they don't like. Why are you hiding your Aunt Vera? So she saved you from a horrible situation. You don't have to tell everything she did.
No. For one, it was a grave secret.
Yes.
So that means, when you have those kind of secrets, and you can best believe Aunt Vera probably wasn't telling that those are two things, yeah. I think I'm pretty good here. I don't think she's going to, snitch.
She's not going to say anything. Right.
No. Because
and if she did, guilty. She's senile. What's she talking about?
I don't know what that lady's talking about.
Right. But that doesn't mean you had to hide her. She's
lucid today. She's not lucid, the next day. So
yeah. But why hide her? I mean, you have no sibling, no family, no nothing. You just appeared like a ghost out of thin air. I didn't quite understand why that was necessary, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She maybe the facade, that the image that she was trying to portray, those things didn't go into the image she was trying to portray.
Well, that's they were fake outside. AF. You came from a hard place. You are very successful. Why wouldn't you use that to inspire someone?
Yeah.
I find that very self-indulgent. Like, why not?
Say, look, I came from the bottom. This is where I came from. And I've, brought myself up by my bootstraps. And, but maybe she just thought, I don't know. You never
and she had help.
People's thoughts.
Because Vera helped her get that scholarship, right? Mm-hmm. Being with Vera's family on the holidays, who was an attorney, helped her develop who she wanted to be.
Right.
So I don't think any of that needed to be hidden. None of it.
Yeah.
And she and Vera are the only ones that know what the hell actually happened.
Yeah.
So that was pointless to me. That whole thing was pointless. The brother didn't know what happened. Like, no one's impressed. I mean, no one likes to say, oh, my brother's a loser or my sibling's a loser. No one likes that. But her friend even said, well, we all have stuff, basically. So I don't know. I just felt that was just way over the top for no reason.
Yeah.
You know me, I can't not nitpick things. I can't do it.
I get it. So
yeah.
But we never know how people feel or about their past. Images, to some people, images everything. So
yeah. And no one tells their dark secrets. No one does that. We all present the best face we can in a public setting. But like you said, that's a grave secret. No one's going to tell. No one's telling anything.
No. And the other thing is that, I mean, she was private to begin with. She didn't have pictures around. She didn't do so. I mean, she could have left it at that I just don't talk about my family.
Or she could have just said,
but her best friend, that was a tough one. Like, or, her college friend. Gee.
Yeah. It's like, she's known her a long time. Think about how old she is. That's a long time to hide a brother.
Mm-hmm.
You never talk about family stuff with your best friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Like, you never need to unload about your aunt in a nursing home.
Yeah. So you were just basically hiding a part of yourself, basically. I remember a group of friends and I think we had like known each other for a couple months. And one of the friends mentioned their daughter, and everybody's like, we know her for 6 months, never heard this woman mention a child. And we were like, okay, so how old is this daughter? Kind of thinking like, she just kind of said, yeah, my daughter's here, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, maybe she's a teenager, or maybe this is a full grown ass woman. This woman never mentioned her child once. And I get, secret, like you don't want to have your child on social media or whatever. You don't post much. But I mean, we had became friends, and I would mention my kids. I wouldn't say a lot, but I was like, yeah, my kids are in town, or blah, 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 and keep it moving. It wasn't like me talking about my children took over a conversation. This woman never mentioned a child. And it just makes you wonder, like, who doesn't mention, like their child?
Yeah. Especially if you're friends. Now, I do understand, because I know someone that does not like to share about their family at work. I don't do a lot of that at work either. I don't. I'm not like open. I'm not like hiding people, but I'm not openly sharing either.
Nope.
But if we've become friends and we are friends,
yeah,
you're gonna know something. You're gonna know stuff my coworkers don't know, because I'm not sharing at work, but I share with my friends. It just seemed weird to me. It just seemed a little weird.
Yeah. And like you said, she didn't have anything at work and blah, blah, and that's fine. And
I didn't have a lot of pictures at work, but guess what? I'm a minimalist when it comes to that stuff. So I
don't bring pictures of my family. No. I think I mentioned that to you before, why I don't. Yeah. I've seen too many people when they get laid off or get fired, and it's time to pack up. And you got this whole treasure of your home life decorations that you have to pack up. And if you can't pack up all that shit in one box, guess what? They're shipping it to your house. I've seen it too many times. So no, I've learned from watching too many of my friends get walked away with security with one copy paper box. So whatever I have at work, I don't have a desk now because I work remotely, but whenever I was at work, everything could fit in a box.
Yeah.
And it was not personal.
No, I work here. And if I make a friend of a coworker that turns into a friend, not many, honestly, because I feel like work is work and friends are friends, and they rarely cross. They rarely cross. Like I could think of like two people, literally two people that used to be coworkers that I no longer work with for one reason or another. Either I left that company or they were let go or whatever it is. Out of all my years of working, two people that I keep in contact with over decades of working.
Yep. Exactly.
When you leave a job, if you never speak to those people again, they're not your friends. They're your coworkers.
Exactly.
So
I agree. I totally agree. And that's just the way it works. It's because, either it's a work relationship or it's a work friend relationship, or it's a work relationship that's turned into a friendship. And those are rare for me. And I do have a few, that I do still talk to. But no, I do. I try not to divulge too much about my family. So
yeah, the work part makes sense, but not the friend part.
Yeah, exactly. Your friend doesn't know you have a sibling.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, very weird.
I don't know. So we did talk about the audiobook a little bit. We both like the audio narrator, which is cool. Although I've never heard another book with her name on it. I don't think I've listened to her before.
She did When No One Is Watching.
She did?
That.
Oh my goodness. I do not even remember that at all.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I had no clue.
Yeah, I think she's pretty new. She's done that, and I think she's done.
She did these toxic things. She did these toxic things.
You know what? You are so right. Because I'm like, her voice sounds familiar.
Wow. I guess I just didn't retain that name because I sat up here and listened to two other books with her name on it.
Wow. Yeah, she did. Now that I think about it.
Wow.
And she must have switched it up pretty good because, we didn't even recognize, her voice from these toxic things.
Right.
So, but yeah, wow. I enjoyed her. She wasn't horrible. She brought emotion. She brought, I loved her tone, everything, she did it in the right places. She brought the right type of tone. She did male voices good. And it wasn't like she tried to do them over the top, like try to, but you knew the difference.
Right.
It was enjoyable.
Yeah, it was. She definitely added to the story. That's for sure. I'm glad I listened. I'm not sure how I would have digested this if I was reading it. I'm not sure it would have went down the same way. You never know.
You would have been bored?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. So what do you think? Shall we rate all her little secrets?
Yes, we should.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Because I got a feeling we're going to be different this time.
I think we are.
Yep. I think we're going to be different. I gave it a 4 because with the 3, I would not recommend. My 3 rating is, it was okay, but you can pass on it. I gave it a 4 because, and I struggled with the 3-4 because I feel like people should read her story because I believe she's a good writer and it's a good story. It's slow as hell, but it's a good story. And I think it should be read by others. So that's why I gave it a 4. Like I said, it was a slow burn, but I enjoyed it. I felt like I was watching a television series. I wish she had a little more pop. But I think she kind of did what she was trying. I think she accomplished what she was trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Could she improve? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Noted. I gave it a 3.
Yes.
I thought it started out with a bang and it quickly fizzled. I think that overall there were some excellent, use of like the law and little things like that. I liked how she incorporated some like real life things that, I could relate to. Like I said earlier, in general, I didn't have any big issues with the character except for her being a little bit dumb for an attorney. I found most of the other characters kind of blah, nothing was wrong with them, but they weren't great either.
Right.
I didn't feel any kind of way about Michael. I didn't think that we got enough to even feel like they actually really loved each other. So, and I feel like that's a big motivator. I feel like that's a big component that was missing, in my opinion.
She even said that. Do I love him? Remember when she was talking to the wife? Enough to want to save his name or.
But you gonna have a years and years long affair with this man who is married? That doesn't win you any points in my book as a character.
The dick was good.
Girl. I guess.
I'm like, years.
It must have been. Girl. But on the flip side, like I said, it fizzled pretty quickly. The slow pacing kind of wore me down just a little bit. And I did like the twist, but I probably wouldn't recommend it. Not like that. But I will keep, Wanda Morris on my radar to see if her second book, does better than this one. Okay. So it was fine, you guys. It was fine. I'm not saying it was bad, but it wasn't like, yes, top 15 of the year or whatever.
I know. That's why I was struggling because I'm like, we've had some fours, but I was just like, but there's something about it that, and that was just me. It was, even though it was slow, it was something that still kept me interested in the story. So, today I finished this book today. Me too. I was like, probably within hours of the show.
Actually, within the hour of the show, I had 10 minutes to go. I'm like, look, I was doing other things. I'm like, I got 10 minutes left. Listen to this last.
Okay, I got a confession. So remember when I told you that I may or may not be able to, record today, whatever, because I had some events that I needed to take care of. So, that means I stopped listening because I had to get these things done. So I got back home and I'm like, just putzing around the house. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't finish the book. I was like, thank God. I was like pretty far, and then I probably finished it at 6:38 maybe tonight.
Okay, like 20 minutes before.
And not to say that it was just, but I've been trying to like read it and keep it fresh in my head. And
same. But I have to admit though, when I love a book, when I'm all into it, I finish the day before it's done.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
And I'm thinking about it the next day. I'm not at the finish line.
You're right.
So
yeah, I'm trying to think, like, will I think about this the next day?
I won't. I moved on. I've already moved on to the next book I need to read. I'm thinking in my head, what's next?
Yeah, you're right. But it was just like, but I don't know. I was like, I see so much potential in her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this probably won't be like totally memorable. Yeah, it might not be. You know what? This book probably won't be one that, like I'll say, you need to read. But I will say I did like it. But yeah. Okay, who knows what my rating will be when I get to Goodreads?
It might change. It might change. you guys, we have not solidified our next quarter yet at the time of this recording. So by the time the recording goes up, if you're in Shelf Addiction Official, you would have seen our next 3 books. So definitely that's another reason you want to join us on Facebook, because you'll see before the month of January starts, before this podcast episode comes out, you would have known what the next books are. So definitely join us over there. If you want to talk about this book, other books, or whatever with us, join us over there. And of course, if you want to see our lovely faces, join us on Patreon.
Yes.
And I think that's it. What do you think, Classy?
I think that's it. This is a lovely discussion.
Yes, it was. Yeah. So go on over and watch the after show. You know you want to. All right, guys, it's been a blast. If you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, I appreciate you for listening to the entire episode. As always, until next time, happy reading. Take care of yourselves. If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review, or like this episode on your favorite podcast player. It seems so simple, but it really helps me out. You can share this podcast with other book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. You can also join the Shelf Addiction Patreon family. For as little as $2 a month, you will help us produce even more awesome content for your ears. You can also consider joining the Shelf Addiction Official Facebook group, where we talk all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction Podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. You can also reach us via email at info@shelfaddiction.com. Thank you for listening.